Okay, I just want to do a quick show and tell video. This is my jack in the box. And why do I call it the jack in the box? Well, it's got a jack in a box. Very simple device. So this sleeve moves in and out, and I use this as an adjustable work support. I can place this under a workbench or a table or a machine or something and get a very rigid, easy and quick to adjust support. It's got a base that's just wide enough that it can stand up on its own, and I adjust it with a cordless drill with a eye hook chucked into it. And so it's very efficient, very quick and very strong. I can literally lift up a truck with these because that's what they're designed to do. So these over here are Toyota truck bottle jacks, and I actually collect these. I bought these on eBay. I find them to be incredibly useful to have around the shop. I've shown how I use these for pressing metal to make countertops. I use it to clamp difficult to reach things onto the workbench. I'll make more videos showing how I use these. They're very versatile and very strong. But I have 3 different models just to show the variety. All of these are made by Toyota. This is a newer one that you would find in truck that I have. This one is from the 80s. It's a little bit heavier and it's got a little bit wider surface on top, which makes it more useful. This one is a little bit narrow, and this one is a cast iron model, very collectible and very heavy. But this one is from the 70s. This is from a Land Cruiser. So all 3 of these are very useful. I like this one the best, the one from the 80s, and it seems to be more common. The newer ones are a little bit flimsier, a little bit narrow, and these are just impossible to find, and they're more antique collectibles, so I just happened to get lucky when I got that one. So, but that's what's in my jack in the box. I've got 2 Toyota bottle jacks mounted inside, and I'm going to demonstrate how this works. So this workbench easily weighs a few hundred pounds, and it lifts it up like it's nothing. But it can definitely supply a rigid support, tie it in right to the floor. I wouldn't recommend pounding on it with a hammer because it's got some hardened worm gears in there. I don't think it would be good for it. But it can definitely take a lot of weight. And so if I got a serious clamping operation, or I'm putting several thousand pounds on my workbench for whatever reason, I can do it with these jack-in-the-box supports. So I'm going to demonstrate another use for these on my drill press. I actually have one on my big drill press here, and I use that for raising and lowering this heavy table. This mechanism over here actually broke on my machine. I bought it like this, but there used to be a gearbox here and a crank, and that would be used to raise and lower this heavy table. But since that is no longer there, the only way I can do it really is with the bottle jack. But it actually makes it work better because I can use the power of the drill. I don't have to reach as far, and it actually supplies additional support to make it even more rigid. So that's just one way I was able to incorporate that and make my drill press function better. Okay, I'm doing a very simple operation on my drill press. I've got a metal countersink bit, and what I have to do is make this recess here a little bit bigger, because the screw was just sticking out just a little bit, and I just need to make it larger. And so that's what I got to do. The problem is that I have to exert a lot of force with this type of cutter. It's stainless steel. It's not easy to cut, and I was having a difficult time just because the force deflects the table, because this is my flimsier drill press. It's not as strong, and it doesn't take that much force to cause the table to deflect. But if I could just make it a little bit more rigid, it would make this operation go faster. And so what I'm going to use my jack-in-the-box for is to very quickly just add a rigid support that will tie this part into the base, and that will make this a lot stronger. So now I'm going to lower the jack here. I'm going to do a couple without the support, just to maybe show how this deflects under pressure. So I really have to put a lot of pressure down to get that to be seated in all the way. And let's just see what happens here. So I don't know if I can show how this is working better, but it just is. And having a solid surface there really makes a big difference. Without the extra support, it just seems like there's more play and things tend to gyrate around more, and I just feel like it's more secure when I have the jack in place like that. So this is one way to use the jack-in-the-box to make your drill press operations a lot more rigid. So this is a very cost-effective and efficient way to convert a flimsy woodworking drill press into a rigid machine that can handle metalworking jobs. And this specific design has worked very well, and it's not a very complicated thing to make. So that's the lowest position there, almost flush. So that gives me about 8.5 inches of range, which works for most things. So I should do a video showing how to make this, but it's really quite simple. I'll just do a quick rundown just to show the size of the parts and how it's put together if you want to make one of these. So what you're going to need is some 4x4, like this Douglas fir, and you can just use scrap cutoffs like this, but you'll need to run them on the joiner and true them up so that you get a nice square stock there. And that ends up being about 3¼ inches usually. So that's what you start with, and so you need 2 pieces, one for the top sleeve, and then there's another sleeve on bottom. And that goes about halfway up, so from here down is all solid wood material. So the total length is about 28 inches. So that bottom sleeve goes up to about 14 inches, and the dimensions of the bottom sleeve are about 1/16 of an inch larger than the top sleeve. And so that's the tolerance that you need to get that part to move in and out freely. So this part is about 13 inches tall, and it's got a recess of 5 inches, and I had to sand away some material here and make a little half moon cutout to go around the base, and that just gets it to compact in there a little bit better. And that's pretty much it. So the range of motion that you would expect to get varies with what type of bottle jack you're using. This one over here, which is the newer one, has the highest range. It's about 10 inches. And the older ones have the lowest. That only goes up about 6 inches. So this one has a telescoping function, and this one just has one solid piston. So that's the jack in the box. Very useful.